Sonia and Anita and tech support are joining us at this time. We should be going live. We are live.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. The board returns from closed session to public session at 7:01. At this time, we will continue with our agenda. We have no action to report from closed session, and we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Vice President Paul.
Sorry, I didn't want to cough in everyone's ear. So we're stopping video, right? Because we're
Yes.
stand up.
So if anyone wishes to stop their video when we stand for them.
So please join me in saluting our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Paul. We will now move forward to our next item, comments from the public. Are there any members of the public wishing to address the board?
President Carrillo, I know that we did get a call about 30 minutes ago, and I told the person to call back right at 7 p.m. So if we could just maybe wait maybe a little bit. I don't know how long you would like to wait, but we did get a call.
Sure, absolutely. And so for those members of the public who are watching our live stream, if you wish to address the board at this time, we are taking your calls. You can dial the number 559-276-3150.
I know I couldn't see if they were back on yet or not, so I waited a minute.
Yeah, we are on. We do have someone here who is going to be speaking for open comments from the public. What I could do is I'm going to put my phone where you're speaking up to the computer so they can hear you. So if you don't mind giving us your first and last name and spelling it for us, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, you
And
can
please
go.
wait.
James. My name is James Rodarmel, R-O-D-A-R-M-E-L.
Okay,
And you will have 3 minutes to address the board. Go ahead and begin. Thank you.
I was just calling tonight on the behalf of concerned parents and employees of the district in regards to the closure continuation out to May the 4th. I wanted to call and personally advise as a parent that my child attends Glacier Point, and during the bad outbreak that we had of the flu going on back in December, January, February, she brought home the flu, missed almost a week and a half of school, and had my entire family sickened by it, where the entire family was down for almost a month and a half. I have special needs children, and I don't believe anything that's going on in the community. I don't think anybody's listening, and I would really appreciate if the board would listen to Andy's advice of being able to please keep the school closed, keep our children safe, keep the employees of the district safe, to allow us to heal together as a community and as a family, to be able to continue to try to be better. Cases are growing by the minute right now. Watching the news, this is getting scary. And I would really hate for a major outbreak to happen with 16,000 plus kids going back to school. Watching my daughter's friends not taking this seriously, going down to LA, going to be with grandparents, going to Mexico, I mean, people are traveling like crazy right now. I don't want to have to bring that back to the schools. It's scary. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me. I really hope that, we are able to continue on with school, but at a later point in time, just to continue to watch the outbreak.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. You do the same. Do we have any other calls?
Not at this time, President Carrillo.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no further comments from the public, we will move to our action items. Our first item on the agenda is item I1, adopt resolution number 1920-47 regarding extension of school closures and delegating authority to superintendent to take necessary actions in response to COVID-19. Superintendent Alvarado.
Thank you, President Carrillo, members of the board and staff, and also to our community who may be joining us this evening virtually. As you all aware, on March the 4th, Governor Newsom declared a state emergency as a result of the threat of COVID-19. Shortly thereafter, on March the 12th, the governor issued Executive Order N25-20 that asked for all residents in California that are to heed any orders and guidance of the state and local public health officials, including but not limited to the imposition of social distancing measures to control the spread. On March the 13th, President Trump declared a national emergency arising from the COVID-19 outbreak. On March the 19th, Governor Newsom ordered all residents within the state of California to heed the state public health directives, stay at home or their place of residence, except as needed to maintain continuity of operations of the federal critical infrastructure sectors and practice social distancing. President Trump has also issued some guidelines that state that people are to avoid social gatherings in groups of more than 10 people. That was updated on March the 6th, and the Center of Disease Control and Prevention also refers to President Trump's guidelines. On March the 12th, the district temporarily closed its schools and on-site educational programs, and that was effective from March the 16th through April the 20th due to the threat of COVID-19. The district administration worked quickly to begin delivery of alternate forms of instruction. Education Code Section 35161 permits the board to delegate to an officer or an employee of the district any of the board's powers and duties. And the board, the resolution is asking to delegate the district superintendent certain powers and duties to address the threat and to be able to respond to COVID-19. Administration is requesting that the board delegate the superintendent certain powers to address duties and to address the threat to COVID-19. As a result, we have the resolution coming to the board this evening. It's resolution number 20-47, and it's regarding extension of school closures and delegating the authority of the superintendent to take necessary action in response to COVID-19. We do know that this is changing on a daily basis. It's important and critical that the superintendent is able to be nimble during this time in order to respond to the changes as it pertains to COVID-19. So administration is asking that the board consider the approval of resolution number 1920-47, and the resolution is attached.
Thank you, Superintendent Alvarado. Are there any questions or comments from any board member? Trustee Paul?
So Superintendent Alvarado, I just wanted to just ask you what the plan for communicating to the board would be, given that you might have to take some action pretty quickly.
Sure. The superintendent would be in discussion with the board president, moving forward. But it's our intent that any type of major decision making where we have time to be able to convene the board, that would take place. There has the the rules governing board meetings have been relaxed. And if there was a case of emergency, we can actually convene the board within an hour's notice. So our intent is to make sure that we're keeping the board informed as we move forward. And we're not anticipating having to act as abruptly, if you will, on any matters, but you just never know with this particular COVID-19. But, you know, it is our intent to make sure that we're keeping the board in the loop and the board is involved in those discussions moving forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Trustee Chan?
Thank you, Mr. Alvarado, for bringing this matter. I did have a question in terms of, at least in terms of the language of the resolution itself. If there is, I didn't see a kind of a sunset period, at least within the language of the resolution. Do you have a different reading than that I may have missed something, or?
If you scroll to page 3 of the resolution,
Mhm.
on top of page 3, where it says, therefore, this right before where it states passed and adopted, that paragraph, the sentence before that, therefore, this resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption and shall remain in effect until repealed by formal board action. If it's the board's desire, we can actually change that language to shall remain in effect until schools resume, or until schools reopen. That way we don't need to really call for a formal meeting and have board take action on it. But that would actually create some sunset language that would automatically sunset this resolution. And we can amend that tonight if that's the board's wishes.
President Carrillo, if I wanted to at least suggest that maybe we put until at least May 4th, so it's not just completely open-ended, because I assume if we will be extending the closure period, we would have had that discussion prior to.
Yeah, and what I would probably suggest, if there's support from the board, to include language that says to remain in effect until the schools are reopened, but no later than May 4th or May 1st. That way it's consistent with the rest of the language of the resolution,
Right.
if that would be agreeable. But I would like to hear from any other board members.
Well, I think we're going to have to meet regardless before it's enacted, right? So it's actually more flexible when it says takes by board action, because we could act on April 14th, not wait until the May 1st. I think it's at the most relaxed level it is, just formal board action. We can call an emergency meeting tomorrow and change the date.
That's correct.
Any other board member wishing to speak? Trustee Solis? Your mic is on mute. Thank you.
Yes, I had concerns about the sunset date, as well as where it says including but not limited to the actions that the board, the superintendent can take. I feel that that's too wide of a statement. It's on page 2. To be further resolved and ordered. And I was just wondering, my concern is it's too broad of a statement. I'll go along with an old saying. If somebody asked me for a deer's hunting license, and then they come back, they want the license to state they can shoot anything with 4 legs and that can fly, that's not a deer hunting license. So I would have a question to the superintendent. Is there any way that he can close up that language a little bit? Or does he have a suggestion?
So on page 2, you're referring to, is it item number 3 there on the top?
No, right before 1, including but not limited to any action.
It's the paragraph, the first paragraph that's in bold that
Oh,
begins
sure.
with, be it further resolved and ordered.
Sure, we can strike out the including but not limited to, and just leave it at action to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, that's fine with me. Thank you.
Mr. Lopez, did you get that correction? I'll have it on my end.
Comments from any other board member? Trustee
Andy, my-
Atkins?
Yes, I sort of agree with the language it is, because if we sit there and put actually a sunset date on this clause on this thing, what if this thing extends off until the middle of July, August? We'll be having a board meeting every other week to sit there and keep on extending it. I hope like heck it don't last that long, but you know, we don't know what's ahead of us unless you guys enjoy having board meetings every other night. I'd change it, but I sort of like the language it is right now.
That's regarding the sunset language?
Yes.
Thank you, Trustee Atkins.
No,
Trustee
just-
Solis?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Superintendent.
So just to help clarify, if there is an extension beyond the May 1st, May 4th, we intend to have this resolution come back to the board for that extension.
Trustee Solis?
Either that, or you could say, change the language to read until school resumes. That would be the end date.
Thank you, Trustee Solis. Any
I-
other comments?
If I
Go
can
ahead.
There's, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Superintendent Alvarado.
Along that same line, as far as the sunset language is concerned, we can add language to reflect when school sites reopen to something like, therefore, this resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption and shall remain in effect until such time the district school sites reopen.
That's fine with me.
Trustee Paul?
But we still, I believe, need to have something in there about the board taking action.
Thank you,
Correct.
Trustee Paul. I was thinking the same thing, that perhaps we include a language that says, as Trustee Solis and Superintendent Alvarado suggested, in effect until the schools reopened and or repealed by formal board action. Or are you suggesting, Trustee Paul, that it still requires action by the board regardless?
It seems like it should.
I agree.
Yeah.
Trustee Cox?
I agree. I think that this is an elevation of a board action. Like I said, we can meet in almost a moment's notice. It's not like they're going to say schools are open tomorrow. That I guarantee you, whatever order is given, they're going to give like a week from now. Schools will open.
Okay,
You can take the and or and just put and repealed by formal board action.
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like there's a consensus on that.
Okay, can I read it one more time?
Yes, please.
I'm reading the last paragraph where it says, be it further resolved and ordered. The last sentence will read, therefore, this resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption and shall remain in effect until such time the district school sites reopen and repealed by by formal board action.
That's acceptable to me. Is that acceptable to the rest of the board members? I'm getting a consensus. Trustee Cervantes, do you wish to? Okay, it's just approval. Great.
Sorry,
Trustee Chan?
could we do and or?
Well, I think the discussion, and it seems that the majority of the board wishes to have not only the opening of the reschools, but also that the board take formal action.
At that time. Okay.
Yeah. Trustee Paul?
I was going to ask if we were ready for a motion.
Yeah,
can
I think so.
Can I just repeat the changes that I captured, just in case Mrs. Lopez wasn't able to jot that down? So we're going to strike including but not limited to any action on the second page, on the first B, it further resolved and ordered. We're going to strike including but not limited to. That's what we're going to strike. And then we're going to add therefore this resolution or change, therefore this resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption and shall remain in effect until such time the district school sites reopen and repealed by formal board action.
I think it would still require that the first paragraph on page 2 where it says, be it further resolved after the COVID-19 pandemic, including, since we have a list there.
Okay, so we're just striking but not limited to.
Correct. That would be my recommendation.
Okay, I got it.
So with that, is there any further discussion or comments from the board? Sonia, do we have any members of the public wishing to address the board on this item? Your mic is mute, but I see your head nodding no. Thank you. So with that said, is there a motion to approve this resolution with the stated amendments?
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. I have a motion by trustee Paul. I have a second by trustee Solis. All in favor, will you please communicate your affirmative support? Thank you. Any opposition? Please communicate your opposition. Any abstentions? Motion carries. The resolution is approved with the amendments 7-0 and no abstentions. Moving on with our agenda, for those of you that joined us just in public session, I2 has been tabled for a future board meeting. Our next meeting is currently scheduled for Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. However, if it is required, Superintendent and I will work together to either call an emergency meeting or a special meeting as necessary. And with that, what are the wishes of the board with respect to adjournment?
So move we adjourn and everybody take care.
Thank you. I have a motion by trustee Cervantes, and then I have a second by trustee Cox. All in favor, please communicate your support. Thank you. Any abstentions? I'm sorry, any opposition? Seeing none, motion carries, and this meeting is adjourned 7-0. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, you guys.